All right, so I watched the second episode of Secret Invasion, hoping that it would get better. It didn't. It starts with a recap of the Captain Marvel movie. You would think that they would have done this in the first episode, but you know, I guess someone figured out that maybe we should let people know what's going on because beggars can't be choosers. So let's talk about this.
I'm Nick Fury.
Official SHIELD activity.
Never occurred to me they would be coming from above.
We can't trust anyone, not even our own men.
Now I stand before you as my true self.
So this is the person he's running around with. If you didn't know, this is what he actually looks like. Kind of thing. I watched it at the episode. I completely forgot about it. So I don't think he ever took his makeup off. I mean, took his fake image off, I guess. So yeah, so this is what he looks like.
My people lived as refugees, homeless, and the handful of us that are left will be slaughtered.
So this is the story that Nick Fury was told, that there's only a handful, you know, it's the whole refugee, this is not how the scrolls are in the comic book. The person who wrote that movie decided to make them into an allegory for immigrants, people fleeing a war, not the scrolls. So it's like the show had to deal with all the missteps from the movie. And it's pretty obvious when you watch the show.
There are thousands of us separated from each other.
All right. So again, he gives the impression that there's only very few of them. This is his family. This right here is his family. This is the girl who is being played by the chick who played in Game of Thrones. The daughter, and that is his wife. That's the one who died and was apparently killed by the leader of the new faction of the Skrulls.
They won't be safe here. They need their own home.
Oh, in the movie, I don't think Nick Fury ever makes this promise about finding a home for them because they have a ship. So, and they're a spacefaring race. So what do they need from a guy on Earth who just found out that they're aliens? As you can tell by my tone of voice, I didn't really enjoy this episode. So I was hoping that it would get better. It did not. All right, so it starts off, as you can see, in 1997. Okay, this lady right here, you will see later on in the episode, but you don't really see her again. That is the leader of the Skrulls, like the new kind of the dude who's blowing stuff up in the last episode. I didn't know what nationality he was, but he blew up a bunch of stuff. So this is him in 1997. They're having looks like a PTA meeting for Skrulls. Nick Fury is some talking, and they're trying to convince the Skrulls to help them do spy stuff, I guess. I don't know why. I have no idea why Nick Fury would trust these folks, because based off of one story that his friend told him, who could be lying to him. But, he's a very trusting spy, I guess.
Farah, welcome.
This is Gravik.
All right. Remember that from what Helios, I think that's what his name, what he said in the last episode is Skrulls live longer than humans do. So he is, what he said, he was the equivalent of a 40-year-old. So this is a child. All right. So 1997, you're looking at another 20 years. So I guess the equivalent will be, I don't know, maybe a 20-year-old, I guess. Even though it's a 30 years. Oh, my math is off. 26 years, I think. And so he'd be He's still relatively young for a Skrull.
His parents were killed in the last stand against the Kree. He escaped from behind enemy lines, piloted a ship all on his own. We could use someone like him.
All right, they're looking for
Thank you,
volunteers.
Talos.
All right, so we're coming up to a point where that it sets the driving force for the rebels in this is what he says next. All right, so he's about to make a promise that I'm not sure how he can keep. Again, it's 1997. We do not have spaceships. The way that we are looking throughout the universe is through radio waves and things like that. Our telescopes really aren't that sophisticated. So how in the hell can he find them a planet if they can't find a planet and they had spaceships?
I believed that humans and Skrulls can help each other. The world is facing a serious threat, and I could use your help. It would mean putting on a new face and keeping it. This is the promise. While you work to keep my home safe, Carol Danvers and I will find you a new one.
All right, so that is the basic reason that the Skrulls on Earth are blowing stuff up and doing all the things that they did, because he said that, and for whatever reason, the rest of them believed that he could fulfill that. I'm not sure why. My idea is this is just bad writing. I have no clue how would he even think that he could do this. He's dependent on Carol Danvers, who by all accounts just kind of left. So you got me. We're back at the explosion. The young guy that we just saw, he's walking away. Guess nobody noticed him standing there holding the trigger or holding the button to explode stuff with his hands in the air so that anybody who's looking can see that. Why he did that, you got me. All right, there's Telios' daughter again. Her motivations are unclear. I don't know if she's either tricking her father or tricking this guy. He didn't care enough to keep in touch with her, but now he's all broken up. So, yeah. This is the guy from the first episode who they kidnapped and traded places with. They had a lot of questions with the first one. It's like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? They answered some of them. It's like, you find out what's the deal with this guy. I think this is one of those things where they could have actually told you a little bit in the beginning so that less confusing, but that would take someone with some kind of talent to do that. So
American! I'm an American!
I don't know.
I'm an American!
Nick Fury gets kidnapped again. And we're back to the very ugly intro. All right. Here we go. All right, we are on the train right now. This is Telios pretending to be a woman. They're doing the two guys see a pretty woman and don't do their job thing. So she smiles, he smiles at them. Says, like, why would I? They're looking for Nick Fury. Show him a picture of Nick Fury. They just don't do their job because she's cute. All right.
Здесь больше шансов встретить инопланетянина.
Funny.
Чемодан.
They've gone.
Master spy right there. Hiding in the bathroom. No disguise, doesn't cut his beard off, does nothing. Looks exactly the same as he did before, didn't change nothing. This is the head of the most secretive organization on Earth, and screw it. My question is, how the hell did they get on the train in the first place? Because he looks exactly the same as he did when so everybody's looking for him.
Well, me and my mama used to take these long train rides.
All right. He is about to tell him a story about growing up in the Jim Crow South. I have no idea why he just breaks out and he just start talking about race stuff. Uh, the impression that I got at first was he was feeling a certain way about being on a train, which is curious because he's about 70. So you would think that he's been on a lot of trains with much better experiences. But I think he is saying this because he is trying to let Telios know that he knows that there's something else going on and that he's not telling him. So instead of telling him a story about a spy thing where somebody betrayed him who he trusted, and then, instead of telling him that type of story, they decided to go with a Jim Crow story about him being treated badly and eating fried chicken. Yeah. But during this conversation, he finds out that Helios invited every Skrull that he could think of to come to Earth. So Nick Fury was under the impression that there was a few, like they said at the beginning in the Captain Marvel movie, that there were only a handful. That's what he told him. There was a handful. Now there are millions. Somehow they built a giant space station to protect the Earth, and they didn't notice a million Skrulls coming to Earth. Now they could have came in like small ships over time before they built the technology that they had. And if that was the case, why can't they find their own damn planet? They had, I'm not exactly sure where their planet is, but I'm quite sure they passed up quite a few that they could have stopped at. This just makes Fury look stupid. So I heard a term on the internet that they're calling him Sergeant Jake Fury, because this is not Nick Fury. I don't know who this dude is supposed to be. I'm not sure why Samuel Jackson allowed them to turn Nick Fury into this guy who seems to be a step behind everybody. That's not Nick Fury. That's this guy. I guess just call him Jake now. So, I don't know.
Train travel back then wasn't nowhere near this elegant. Coming out of Alabama, we always had to ride in the color car.
What is the purpose of this story?
We couldn't go in the dining car, so we brought fried chicken,
Because all black people eat fried chicken.
On these long rides, me and my mother would make up games. Tell me something I don't know.
Here we go. Now we get to the point of this drawn out stupid story. This is how they chose to have Nick Fury tell Helios, I know something that you're not telling me. The Nick Fury from the actual movies would know a bit more than this. So he would kind of know what's going on. This should have been something where he knows what's going on. He wants to know if he can trust this guy. He wants him to tell him what's going on. But he apparently is clueless, because once he finds out, well, you'll see what his reaction is.
You want to go a few rounds?
Sure.
Tell me something I don't know about the destruction of Skrullos.
This is information that before you make these promises, before you have these people do stuff for you and integrate them into your organization, you need to find out if what they're telling you is the truth, because they could be lying to you. So I guess he was a more trusting dude then. How that guy would eventually become the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know.
We were overpowered by the Kree. We held them off for as long as we could. The million of us that were left, we fled.
Interesting. Tell me something I don't know about the Skrulls that fled.
So this makes me think that he does know what's going on. Okay. This is information that he could have got from Carol Danvers. And if he did, why would you make the promises that you made when you couldn't back it up, knowing that there could potentially be a million of shapeshifter dudes floating in space who knows where your planet is?
They're here.
Who's here?
All of us.
You're telling me there's a million Skrulls walking amongst us right now?
I sent out the call, and every Skrull that isn't in Emperor George's colony.
He's flabbergasted by this. Why Nick Fury doesn't find all of this stuff out before he lets these people just hang out on Earth is beyond me. I think this is present day. So it never dawned on him that maybe more would come, and that because you're using them to infiltrate different places, that they can do this themselves. So he seems super shocked by this. Again, this is not Nick Fury. And I do not understand why Samuel Jackson let them do this. But I don't know, maybe he has no control over the scripts, because he really didn't have any control over how he lost his eye, because that was just stupid.
You lied to me.
So when did he actually send this call out? Because he's about to get upset that Nick Fury left. Apparently, Nick Fury disappeared after the snap. So modern times, they were gone for 5 years. The details of how long this actually was is kind of a little murky between when he came back, what happens when he did come back, and now. So when did he disappear? Did he? Because he got snapped out of existence. So are they upset at him because of that? Like earlier, that alludes to what he's talking about, because that's not exactly his fault. Now, the way that they said that he reacted afterwards is strange, because he knew that there were aliens. Because he knew in the 90s. Why he wouldn't have contingency plans for any of this happening, and how he could not have seen that any of this stuff was going to happen, is beyond me.
Because you were gone.
Which was not that long ago. He seems very upset about something that took place not that long ago.
You knew how to get in touch with me, Talos, and you didn't because you didn't want me to know.
How does he not know? You have a giant space station that is you built to know this type of stuff, and he does not know this. This is so. This goes back to what I was saying before. The writers have a beginning and they have an ending. They do not know how to connect these 2 points.
There is not enough room or tolerance on this planet for another species.
There had to have been a better way for them to have this conversation. Because he's just ranting at that point. So that means he really didn't know that there was a million Skrulls on this planet. So you're supposed to be guarding against all the stuff out in the universe, because thanks to Carol Danvers and now you know about the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that stuff. So you know this is a vast universe filled with aliens who could care less about the planet Earth and wouldn't mind conquering it just for whatever. So you know this. You got alien gangs, they got all kind of stuff. And you didn't notice a million friggin' aliens coming to cohabitate on your planet.
Oh my God.
All right, so this is Maria Hill's mother. They're accepting her body back from being, like after she was killed in that town center or whatever that was. She's gonna get mad at Fury because he was with her at the time, and she's gonna accuse him of getting her daughter killed. This is typical spy movie stuff. It's nothing new, nothing I have not seen before.
Elizabeth.
All right, so this is where she gets mad at him because he got her daughter killed. You know, I can understand her anger about that. It ends kind of with how you would think it ends, where her saying that, you know, anger, and then he's remorseful. She tells him how much she looked up to him, and she would have, she would have done whatever he asked and all that stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know. Again, it's so much stuff that I've seen before, so it becomes boring because I've seen it. I guess this is the speech to get him off to get him to go out and, I don't know, find out what's going on or not let her death be in vain, that usual yada, yada, yada. All right.
Several bombs exploded today at an annual celebration in Moscow.
All right. So this is the MCU's version of CNN or whatever. Now, if you watched the first show, you saw a handful of people, but somehow that small handful of people turned into 2,000 people who died. So that means, if 2,000 people died and it looked like most of them ran out of that little square area, what looked like a handful of people apparently must have been like 10,000 or something like that. It is MCU math. Yes.
One suspect is currently in custody, a leading member of the online fringe group Americans Against Russia.
Okay, so the UK Prime Minister. All right, so by them letting you know now that he was a part of some fringe group that somehow speaks for America or something, that they want you to believe that a fringe group blowing stuff up will cause the Russians and the rest of the world to want to go to war with America. Like these countries don't have their own ingrown terrorists who do stuff that they don't like. Again, it is, I want something to happen. I don't really know how to make it happen. But this is the UK Prime Minister. You'll find out who she is later.
While the NATO Secretary General says
him too. A fringe group in America, unless they think that this CIA group or something and not just a bunch of crazy people, because every country has crazy people who do crazy things, and you don't start a nuclear war over crazy people doing crazy things.
They're all saying we had something to do with Moscow.
Yeah, so as you can see, FXN, this is the crazy Fox guy. He and the boss guy are off to a secret meeting. That's the talking, blah, blah, blah. So he walks into this secret meeting.
Secretary General. But I'm sure that was just a curious oversight.
As you can see, all those people you just saw on TV are in this room.
Madam Prime Minister?
I'm not exactly sure who this is. But as you can see, it's the guy's head of NATO, the UK Prime Minister, and the yelly white dude. I guess that's supposed to be either Rush Limbaugh or Hannity, I guess.
I trust I speak for the group when I say
you don't know who that dude is.
We're all happy to have you with us. Please, sit.
I see you, all dressed up in the man's finery, drinking the man's wine.
Remember that this guy is probably what they would consider like a 20-year-old or something like that. If the age is different as you would think. So he probably just looks about the age of what he looks like. Okay. So he's sitting at these council of elders or whatever, giving them shit. Why they're listening to the equivalent of a 20-year-old, I don't know. So he's about to go into a tirade about how humans are crap, the usual kind of Hollywood-y type stuff about how we suck.
And they don't go out of their way to degrade and destroy their own habitat.
Of course, you got to have something in there about the environment.
You murdered over 2,000 innocent human children, and yet you don't seem remotely remorseful.
What the hell gives you the right to disobey this council?
What gives me the right?
Okay, so there you have it. This dude thinks that it's okay because Nick Fury made a promise that he couldn't keep, that it's okay to steal our planet from us. Because that's basically what he's about to say. It was a promise made. The guy who made it is not keeping it. And so therefore, we should take the Earth. If he can't find us a planet of our own, again, they have access to spaceships. Why can't they find their own damn planet? Oh, but the most interesting thing about this scene is this is for the most part, comic accurate to how the Skrulls actually are. I'm getting the impression that they're trying to make them into what the Skrulls actually are in a comic book. Nick Fury is going to find out, I guess, at some point that they're all sneaky bastards, I guess. I think what they probably should have done is to retcon Captain Marvel a bit by having a scene, I guess, where Nick Fury leaves and and these guys have a conversation about what their future plans are and lay that seed. Since you redid a scene from the time period all this took, like the movie took place, you could have recreated that scene because you have basically you have all the people there, and so you can show that how the scrolls really are. Because you really didn't do that. It's just like a weird switch that so now they're all evil and warriors, and because that's what they discuss during this meeting about how the I guess Indian lady, I guess that's what she is, how they lost the war because they like fighting. Gives you an idea into what type of folks they are.
Udrikag makel meki kajbaju ashuj kajushaklakiku. Kirog herom kus kajushat musham.
See, this is what I don't understand. Is when did he abandon them? Was it after the snap? He was gone for 5 years because he got snapped out of existence. Was it after he came back from the snap? I'm sorry, that would kind of mess with anybody. All right. What's the time period between these two and now? That's something that they are not letting us know. So it's kind of hard to figure out why are they so upset about this. Are they upset that he didn't fulfill this promise again? That I don't know how anybody thought that he can keep this promise. They have spaceships. We do not. One guy makes a promise that he couldn't keep, and now in the future, it is okay for them to take our planet. That is an interesting leap in logic.
I think it's a war.
I think it's a war. And unlike the last war each one of us around this table fought in, I'm not going to lose this one.
All right, that is an interesting statement. You showed him as a child. Did he fight? Or did he survive and just take a ship and figure out how to come to, again, they have ships. They can find their own damn planet. If you would have, instead of making this silly promise thing, you could have had them just sitting in a council deciding that they wanted to take the Earth, tricking Nick Fury into helping them do that. Because my one question is, how did they get to these positions? Did they kidnap the people who were these people? Because then they're sitting in that one of their facilities. How long have they been this? I'm not sure. In better hands, I think it would be interesting to find out this information out. I am not sure how well these writers can relay that, because they're heads of state. Heads of state are always being watched and all that stuff. Even the people who have the potential to be that, if you get on this radar when you eventually could become in these positions, you're probably being watched by a lot of people. So it's like, how long have they been in these forms?
And what happens if the Avengers return?
You don't think I thought about that? Put your faith in me, and I promise your loyalty will be repaid.
They went from a bunch of refugees to a war council and all that other stuff without any explanation. How, like, did a promise turn them into this? Or were they always like this? And they just decided to change it because this is what they wanted in terms of the script. Now, if they started initially like this, then this goes in line with how the scrolls are.
We'll submit.
Right. The question that I had when I saw this, who are these people in terms of the pecking order of the current population of scrolls on Earth? Or do they have higher positions? Like, how do you get on the council? These kind of things.
I fear each one of you has forgotten our history. We did not end up homeless refugees because we were unwilling to wage war. We ended up homeless refugees because we were too willing.
How did this young child, and that because at the beginning of the show, he is a young child, grow to get this amount of this position where he can dictate to all of these people who became heads of state, and they just meekly just accepted? Okay, we're 27 minutes in, and it's been nothing but talking. Like, no action, no nothing. They've been talking in trains, talking in alleyways, talking in fancy restaurants. this is very boring. Did they fight a war or something to make this dude some kind of war hero? Or I mean, yes, they did. They came back and they fought a war, but like, what happened in between when he was a child and now, where he's like a messiah figure for blowing stuff up because a guy made a promise he couldn't keep. In the previous episode, one of his lieutenants kept looking at her kind of funny and giving an indication that he didn't really trust her. All right. So they're about to do the person who you don't know whose side that she's on is sneaking around the base and nobody notices a thing. She's just following the guy who was giving her a little bit of "I don't trust you" vibes. This is in every one of these silly shows.
You don't have it.
Harvest wasn't there. Gravik has given me multiple locations for the harvest, all of them empty.
Now she is hiding in plain sight. All right. And none of these people turn around and see her. They're so focused on one side of the room that they just don't turn around. And I don't know about you, but I have been places where you can actually feel someone looking at you. And like your sixth sense or whatever kicks in, and you turn around to go see what's going on. It is crazy that nobody does that.
This stunning sign of just how seriously it regards rumours of American involvement in the Moscow attack. The 27 EU heads plus the British Prime Minister demanded Washington to account for itself.
Colonel Road? Colonel, are you denying that 2 of your citizens were present?
All right, a bit of insight into my limited comic book knowledge. SHIELD is an international organization. So if you say that they answer to people, then they answer to these group of people. All right, so yes, Nick Fury and Maria Hill are citizens of America, but they work for an international organization. What this show would have you to believe that these people have no problem with them, with America having the Avengers, who have gods and super soldiers and all that stuff running around. They have no problem with America building a giant space station in space. Then this dude is running around doing stuff on a regular basis. They seem to have no problem with that, apparently. But when a terrorist group who has, like, the guy is an American, yet because he kept saying it over and over and over again, that's where they have a problem. So they don't have a problem with the Hulk. They don't have a problem with Tony Stark, who is an American citizen who has a super suit. And this guy has a super suit that they have probably at this point no answer to, but they're okay with all of that. Okay.
We are aware of allegations that Mr. Fury and Ms. Hill may have traveled to Moscow. Would have been in their capacity as private citizens. So
now the funny bit about this is pretty much exactly how we would handle this. It's just like, yeah, we'd send somebody over there to talk to these people and eventually just tell them to piss off.
Slovakia rolls its eyes at me one more time, I'm going to put on the suit and carpet bomb it.
Why are you here, Colonel? Surely President Ritson is aware of the seriousness with which his international partners regard this allegation.
Well, I'm here as a courtesy, Madam Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's basically how we would handle this. All right, so Rhodey gets a phone call from Fury. He's somewhere in the building because they can't figure out whether or not, this show can't figure out whether or not he's competent or incompetent, you know. He's either a super spy and then he goes back to being a kind of a bumbling idiot, then back to a super spy again.
Rhodes.
Nice suit. Armani. Pretty expensive for a government salary. We need to meet ASAP.
Tell you what, let me just finish mopping up this globe-sized bucket of steaming hot caca you tipped over yesterday morning and we can get a drink. That sound good?
This is the part where they tell him how much he's messed up and then blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Burner's Tavern, 1 o'clock. Do me a favor and try not to pop off a nuclear holocaust before you get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the super spy who has not changed his outfit, cut his hair, or do anything to hide what he looks like. Yeah.
Should I be worried about poison?
You should be worried about spending the rest of your days in a Siberian retirement. Don't let the relaxed ambiance fool you.
All right, so this proceeds to be a conversation between these two dudes about how he tries to tell Rhodey what's going on. They exchange stories, kind of thing, in which he finds out that Rhodey knows about the Skrulls. Why this will be shocking to him, I don't know, because I'm quite sure you documented the fact that there were some scrolls on Earth at some point. He's a high enough position in the government to probably know this, and he is an Avenger, so they will constitute some sort of threat. So again, he should know this. This is a weird conversation, which eventually turns into another discussion about race. So we haven't had any action in this show yet, but we have 2 discussions on race. I'm not sure who wrote this. The way that they talk is, at some point, Nick Fury talks about wresting power away from lesser men, so the white guys, and they proceed to have a conversation about how only Fury is the only one who can save the planet, I guess, and for some strange reason they can't call the other Avengers to do this, even though Fury knows that there are millions of Skrulls on Earth now. I'm quite sure maybe Rhodey should know this too, that he should tell the government that there are millions of Skrulls, and Nick Fury screwed up by letting this happen. Then they start talking again, go into more racial stuff, and the people who wrote this think black people are monolith, and we all have the same experiences. Now, the good thing is Rhodey pushes back on that particular comment and says essentially probably what I would say about how you screwed up, and giving all the power to you is probably not that good an idea based off of what you've been doing lately and how you've been acting. The thing I hate the most about any of this stuff is when they touch on these topics, because they think that that's the only thing on these 2 dudes' mind. He has a powerful position in government. He's made it there based on his own merit. So if he has any sense, he should not dwell on his color or really care. But the people who write this don't seem to think that's how we think.
I'm this close to handing your ass over to the Russians. You do not want to be playing mine is bigger than yours with job titles right now, Fury.
I was there trying to stop the attack.
Oh, well.
Right. If he was there to stop the attack, why he doesn't let them know this? That would mean that you don't have this stupid conversation if you keep them involved. Because according to this show, that's who you work for. You're not international anymore. You work for America. So maybe America should know what the hell you're doing in Russia, so they don't have to clean up some nonsense where you keep obviously screwing up. Because again, this is not Nick Fury. You don't know who this person is. This is a stand-in for, it's a walking plot device to move the story forward while he just stumbles and bumbles about.
Simultaneously flipped all of our allies to Team Russia.
Why? It was a fringe group. It's not sanctioned by America. I'm quite sure if this actually happened, we will be telling everybody that it's not sanctioned by us. This was some crazy group of people who did this. That's what we probably would say. And I find it hard to believe that would lead to World War, like this huge war, or the things that he's speculating about.
How well do you know your security detail? What if I told you they were all spies? 9-state actors, global reach, borderless operation.
Why would you not? You know this guy, so why would you not tell him what the hell is going on? So that at least you can know that you're on the same page. Like, is the point of this is for intrigue or something? I really don't know.
Hydra?
Yeah, if Hydra was a bunch of green guys who could shapeshift into your daddy. So how long have you known about it?
About 15 years ago, I was part of...
15 years ago, it's a little bit beyond... my math sucks. Yeah, about 2006, something like that. That's a little bit beyond you having your PTA meeting with the Skrulls. So, was that sanctioned, unsanctioned? But he should know this stuff. This shouldn't be surprising to you.
Pentagon was concerned that they might get into their heads to invade us one day from
shocking, right?
The inside.
That invasion is real. It's happened.
That's That's not possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but it's true.
Why would you not think this? You have the word of like what, one of them and that they were refugees? Okay. You're a spy. You're supposed to be paranoid.
And here's the crazy part. We're being invaded and we can't even tell who the invaders are.
Maybe we should call our friends.
No. We can't jump the gun on that. Next thing you know, they find themselves duplicated and turned into terrorists.
Fear.
Right up until the point where they use their powers. And then unless these scrolls can imitate their power set. Yeah, I doubt that.
This is my war, Brody. I need you to back me on this.
1 million scrolls. He's gonna fight 1 million scrolls by his damn self.
I'm not doing it. I just spent all the political capital I had in getting Maria Hill's body back from the Russians. I'm here as an envoy of the United States government, Fury.
We owe each other. Men who look like us.
And here we go. With the stupid discussion on race that has nothing to do with the actual thing that's going on. They don't know how this benefits. Like, if you're gonna write something, I would imagine that you would write it like if these dudes had no color. How would you write this? The best stories are written like this because the situation calls for a certain type of person. Like, what color he is does not matter and is not really pertinent to this conversation, but they're gonna go there anyway.
Every ounce of power we wrestle from the vice grip of the mediocre Alexander Pierces who run this world was earned in blood.
It is 2023, not 1960. He's talking to him like it's the 80s or something. And this black people getting power is new. It's not. Please stop writing this type of stuff.
So let's make the power mean something. Help a brother out. Have you even listened to a word that I've said?
Yeah, I have. The world is on the line. The enemy is 1,000,000 times more dangerous than Hydra, but they can only be vanquished by you. The reason we wrestled this power from mediocre men who don't look like us was not simply to turn around and hand it to mediocre men who do. To be able to sit across from a man we greatly admire, with whom we share an entire professional, personal, ancestral history with, and to tell him without any reservation that he's fired.
Is it you to fire me?
So I wonder what this sets up. I guess he's supposed to go rogue now, and do it on his own without any help from the man or like whatever. I don't know why they chose to tell this story like this. I don't know.
Nobody sent me. I volunteered. You earned all this smoke, brother.
All right. So they've decided at this point to show that Nick Fury is a badass again. So here we go.
Are you seriously under the impression that just because you stripped me of my titles, I relinquished my DNA?
I'm not sure what that's supposed to prove, but whatever.
You wonder why you're out.
I'm Nick Fury.
No, you're not. You're not.
Even when I'm out, I'm in.
And he goes outside and looks like he's either about to cry, have a heart attack, or something. So that little glimpse of who Nick Fury was is gone. Okay. We got 39 minutes in and still nothing but talking. All right. It's the soccer mom who is in charge of MI6, who through this next scene is, I guess, is supposed to come across as intimidating or something, but it just seems very silly. It's like someone's goofy mom is just walking around torturing people and whatnot.
Yes, and now that the door is unlocked, what does that tell you about me and Dawn?
Who are you?
I'm above your pay grade. Where is he?
I mean, what is this? Okay, so they're torturing the Skrull, and I don't know what color Skrull's blood is because I think one of them bled in the Captain Marvel movie. I think one of them bled in a Captain Marvel movie, but I don't remember what color it is. They're torturing him a lot, and he's staying in that farm. Good on him, I guess.
Your mother ever warn you could lose an eye by beating your meat like that?
What are you doing here?
So what happens next is, here's my phone. Your boss is on my phone, and all of you are just going to leave this soccer mom in the room by herself. Yeah. And she puts a little bar on. After she asks him where their escape tunnel is, he just tells her because reasons. And then she proceeds to torture this guy. The librarian pumps him full of chemicals, and which causes his blood temperature to go up. Okay, that could kill him. Really, instantly. She has no idea. She don't know anything about this dude. He could have a heart problem, whatever. And she just pumps him full of chemicals, which could kill him, and she would get no information. But that doesn't happen, so she cuts his finger off, and soon it turns into a scroll. So that means that she knows that there are scrolls on Earth too. She should also know that scrolls are stronger than she is. What is her contingency plan if he breaks these chains? And because he could just be sitting in this chain, so not to give up who he is. He's he's down for the cause or whatever. But now that he knows there's an escape hatch underneath him, and you have locked the door, he could just pop out, just kill you, and then take your place. But yeah, that would make sense.
Alone at last. Now, shall we do this the easy way or the other way?
I'm gonna break these chains, and then I'm gonna break every bone in your body.
There is zero intimidation about this woman. None.
The other way it is.
Here we go. She's about to, here we go. She cuts her finger off, like I said before, and he just lets her do this.
Well, now that's confirmed.
Like I said, she knows about the scrolls.
Let's party, shall we?
All right. At this point, she looks on the computer, and of course, there's no cameras, no place, and nobody's making sure that nobody's looking on the computer. So it's the whole screen is facing me and not facing you, so therefore you don't see exactly what I'm doing.
Our man on the inside located Brogan. Let's go then.
You're wasting your time. I'll never talk to you.
Well, that's very brave. But everyone talks when their blood starts to cook at 160 degrees centigrade.
Which could kill him. Again, she has no idea what kind of health condition this guy has, so that could kill him.
It's a biochemical imperative. The smart ones start talking earlier than that. You a smart one? Right, no, didn't think so.
All right, so as you can see, his blood is boiling. Then he eventually tells her somewhat of what she wants to know.
Gravik will kill me.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, but if I don't get a name, Gravik won't get the chance to kill you.
Dalton! The name's Dalton.
Oh, you see, that wasn't so terribly difficult, was it?
Okay, so the next scene is very dumb. The scrolls are infiltrators. The last thing that they should want to do is start killing everybody at this thing. What you want to do is to, if you're gonna do it, you can sneak in and just do it one at a time. Kill him, right? Take his place, and then go in there and then kill another one, and do it without making noise. Because I guess with 9 minutes left in this episode, we can finally get some action. Yeah. He just fell over and knocked all the pots and pans down. This store is not really that big, so somebody would have heard that. So reaching up and not doing the bell is dumb. All right, so The only thing that's keeping them good, them two dudes that are in the little meat area, from not hearing the guy who just fell over and knocked all the pots and pans down, is like two doors. There's not even a whole door to block the sound. So they would have heard the glass, even if they used the movie silencer, which only works in movies. They would have heard the little noise of him getting hit. He would have hit the wall, and it would have been a thump. So again, these two dudes are like 20 feet away, so they would have heard that. He damn sure would have heard when he hit the thing and he fell over and all the pots fell down. They want something to happen. They have no idea how to make it happen. All right, she hears the noise because she somehow knew that the Skrulls were gonna find them. Don't know how she knew that.
Your lift is here.
Listen, I'm just gonna go and check round back.
Okay, so, well, I don't know. Maybe in Moscow there's a lot of gunplay, so nobody notices this firefight taking place in the middle of the night in a butcher shop. I don't know. Maybe in some weird area where nobody hears the gunshot. Okay, he flips the guy. What I'm thinking is this is their idea to show you how much of a badass he is. It's stupid because you're running around shooting guns, making all kind of noise. It probably would have been more, because given the position that he is in, he should be more of a tactician. So it should be a bit more subtle than it was. And that might be not as exciting, but it would probably fit more of his character and why all of a sudden everyone is following him.
How very Dostoevsky.
So then she sneaks out through the tunnel underneath the floor, which she's not even going to close the door. She's going to leave the door wide open. You would think that given that there's a bunch of angry Skrulls, you want to close the door so that they can't follow you. Because if I was me, if I come into the room and then there's a giant hole in the middle of the floor, I would kind of wonder why there's a giant hole in the middle of the floor and why the dude who I'm looking for is laying on the side with his finger cut off and the door was locked. I'm just saying. It sounds like she's telling someone where their safe house is. So we're back to which side is she on thing. Everything that they're doing is loud and the opposite of sneaky. All right, so he sees the hole in the floor, right? So he sees this. As soon as he walks in the door, he sees that, okay? He just picks up his dude and they just dip. No wondering, like they don't wonder if there was somebody in the room with him that got away. Yeah, screw it.
Got him! Let's go!
What'd you tell him?
Nothing, just lies.
Not just lies.
So I swear.
Take him to the car.
Okay, dead people everywhere. All right. Dead people on the hooks. So, nothing unusual here. The opposite of sneaky. He walks into the room, sees the hole in the floor where the chair is, like it was tipped over, doesn't seem to give a shit. At that point, he should like at least climb in the hole, look around, go out the other side, see if someone got away. It don't look like she that quick. And she just, like, that's a scene that they should have added.
Keep driving.
How did they find our safe house?
Pull over.
All right, so they drive out to the middle of no place. Apparently the guy in charge now has suspicions. You know, he looks in the hole, hole's open. They found their safe house, and now they're out in the middle of no place. Now, if this was a typical spy show, you know, I can see how they can do this, but these are all aliens. All right, so he's gonna kill a dude. So he's gonna kill one of his men, who's an alien, who revert back to being an alien when they're shot, like when they die.
We make it home, Peyton. Almost there, bro.
He called him bro, so I wonder if they're related. I guess I probably need to watch the first episode again to see what their relationship is, because I don't remember them having one. I guess this is to show how dedicated this guy is. I was mistaken. He left the body in the forest. They turn back to Skrulls when they're dead. So what? Nobody's gonna find this body. Nobody's gonna be strolling out this place and just notice that there's a dead alien in the forest. Makes sense when everyone is human. Does not make sense when everyone is an alien. This makes no sense. Maybe he's doing another message to her too. Huh? Maybe. Still stupid. They just drove off, left the alien body in the forest. I'm not exactly sure where they're at. Because again, the master spy has not changed what he looks like. Knows for a fact that they're looking for him. They know what he looks like. Just walking around. Screw it. How long was that in storage? If you keep a car in storage too long, they tend not to work very well. So, okay, all right. This is his destination. Do you remember the Skrull from the beginning of the episode? She's living in this house apparently. Okay, remember when he came in the house, she was a Skrull, and now she's not. Why would she be a Skrull? I guess in there by herself. And did she hear the door open and she turned into a Skrull? And if she did, and she has no idea that he is coming, why would she not stop doing what she's doing? Unless you just wanted us to know that she was a Skrull.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Alright, so this is a wedding ring. She reminded him he forgot something. So he goes to a jar and pulls it out of the jar. They are playing music in the background, so I can't exactly play this scene. So yeah, he's putting the ring on, as you can see.
Better?
Almost.
So Nick Fury is married to a Skrull. Okay, this is not Nick Fury. So many questions. Why would he marry a Skrull? Why did he tell her what body to pick? Okay, that's a little freaky. What happened to the person that she's pretending to be? Because again, when they showed the guy who had his finger cut off, the person that he was pretending to be was in some kind of weird chamber thing that had electrodes. I mean, like electricity going to his head, and was that how their powers work? I don't know. And that is the end of the episode. Man, I was hoping that this one would be better. It's actually not. It actually has less action than the first one. And all they do is talk and just show how dumb Nick Fury is. I have as many questions about this episode as I had with the first one. I am not sure if I can watch the next one, but I don't know. You should check it out yourself. Like and subscribe.